Good morning friends. We will discuss second part of the branch account. Second part of the topic of the unit branch accounts of the financial accounting paper second BCom first. In this part we will discuss accounting methods, accounting entries, journal entries under branch account method as well as accounts under the branch trading profit loss account method. In the first part we have seen that there are three methods of accounting. One is branch account method or debtor system, second is branch trading profit loss account method, and third is stock and debtors method. Out of these first two methods we will cover in this session. Dr. Nanda Kumar Lakshman Kadam, Head Department of Accountancy, welcome you in this interesting session. Okay, start. Branch account method or debtors system. Under this method, the head office will prepare all accounts. As we have already discussed, the dependent branches do not keep any books of accounts. All these accounts are prepared by the head office. So, for preparation of accounts to record the transactions relating to the branch, head office open one account, that is branch account. Head office opens one account, that is branch account, and to this account all the transactions relating to the branch are recorded. It means all transactions relating to the branch are recorded to the only one account, that is branch account. Okay, the account is prepared on the line of preparation of debtors account. The account is prepared like a debtors account, so it is also called as debtors method or debtors system. The goods may be sent either at cost price or at invoice price. Okay, so under this method only one account is prepared, namely branch account. Okay, and all transactions relating to the branch are recorded to this only one account. How to pass the journal entries? The basic journal entries or basic accounting entries. The first is to record opening assets. The entry will be branch account debit to branch assets account. Branch account debit to branch assets account. Generally there are 3-4 assets. One is stock, second is debtors, third is petty cash, and fourth any other asset like furniture or any income. Okay, so branch account debit to branch assets, that is branch stock account, to branch debtors account, to branch petty cash account, to branch any other asset. Okay, next is to record opening liabilities. If there are some opening liabilities, it will be brought into the accounts by passing entry as reverse entry. Branch liabilities account debit, branch liabilities account debit to branch account, branch liabilities account debit to branch account. Generally 2-3 liabilities. One is outstanding expenses, so branch outstanding expenses account debit or branch any other liability account debit to branch account. These two entries are passed to record opening assets and opening liabilities. Next entry is for sending the goods to the branch. Goods sent to the branch. Simple entry: branch account debit to goods sent to branch. Branch account debit to goods sent to branch. If goods are returned by the branch to the head office, if the goods are returned by the branch to the head office, then reverse entry is passed, that is goods sent to branch account debit to branch. For sending the goods, branch account debit to goods sent to branch account, and for return of goods, reverse entry goods sent to branch account debit to branch. Okay, simple entries. The next entry for expenses incurred by the head office. Next entry for expenses incurred by the head office for branch. The entry is branch account debit to cash or bank account. Branch account debit to cash or bank account. Okay, keep it in mind. The expenses are not debited. Say for example insurance, rent, salary, wages, all these are not debited. All expenses are not debited, but for these all expenses only one entry is passed, that is branch account debit to bank or cash account. Okay, no individual are debited. Only the branch account is debited. And remittance by branch. The cash collected by branch will be remitted to the head office, and for receipt of such remittance from branch, the entry is passed as bank or cash account debit to branch. Bank or cash account debit to branch for remittance by branch to head office. Next is abnormal loss. Entry for abnormal loss. Abnormal loss means loss by fire, loss by theft. Okay, all these are abnormal losses. If there is any abnormal loss, then we have to see three possibilities. We have to pass entries according to the situation. Okay, the first entry will be passed as abnormal loss account debit to branch. Abnormal loss account debit to branch. Simple entry. Loss nominal account, so our loss will be debited. Okay, so abnormal loss account debit to branch account. This is the first entry. If the goods are insured, if the goods are uninsured, then the total loss should be transferred to the profit and loss account. If the goods are uninsured, then the total loss should be transferred to the profit and loss account, and so the entry will be passed as profit and loss account debit to abnormal loss account. Profit and loss account debit to abnormal loss account. And if the goods are insured, and insurance company admitted the claim or paid the claim, but the amount of the claim may be short than the actual loss. The amount of loss may be less than the actual loss. Okay, so at such time the entry will be passed as insurance company account debit if the claim is admitted, and if the claim is paid, cash or bank account debit. Generally bank account debit. If the claim is paid, bank account debit. The net loss, profit and loss account debit to abnormal loss. It means here you have to calculate net loss. If the insurance claim is less than the actual loss, abnormal loss, then insurance company account debit if the claim is admitted but not paid. Cash or bank account debit, generally bank account debit, because the insurance company paid directly to the bank. So bank account debit if the claim is paid. If there is loss, it means the claim amount is less than the actual loss, then difference is loss, profit and loss account debit to abnormal loss. Okay, so first we have to record abnormal loss by passing entry abnormal loss account to branch account, and then we have to take into consideration whether the goods are uninsured or insured. If the goods are uninsured, transfer total abnormal loss to the profit and loss account, and if the goods are insured and the insurance company admitted the claim or paid the claim, then at such time find out the net loss, and this only net loss is transferred to the profit and loss account, and remaining amount, that is claim amount, either it will be debited to the insurance company account or bank account. Okay, is that clear? We go ahead. Then next entry for closing assets. Reverse entry to the opening assets. Okay, entry will be assets account debit, branch assets account debit to branch account. Branch assets account debit to branch account. Generally 3-4 assets, that is branch stock account debit, branch debtors account debit, branch petty cash account debit, any other asset account debit to branch account. Okay, and the next entry for recording closing liabilities. If there are any closing liabilities, entry is branch account debit to liabilities account. Branch account debit to branch liabilities account. That is branch account debit to branch outstanding expenses account or to branch any other liabilities account. To record assets, closing assets and closing liabilities. Then next we will close the branch account. And we will transfer the profit or loss on branch account to the general profit and loss. We will close the branch account and we will calculate the profit or loss, and this profit or loss will be transferred to the general profit and loss account. If there is profit, entry is branch account debit to general profit and loss account. And if there is loss, reverse entry, that is general profit and loss account debit to branch. Okay. And finally, the balance of goods sent to branch account is transferred to the trading account or to the purchase account. Balance of goods sent to the branch account is transferred to the trading account or purchase account. Entry is goods sent to branch account debit to trading account or purchases account. Goods sent to branch account debit to trading account or purchase account. These entries are passed for recording the transactions relating to the branch by opening only one account, that is branch account. Okay, only 11 entries you have to pass. Only 11 entries you have to pass. Then next, which is more important, that such items for which no entry is passed. You must know the items for which no entry should be passed. Such items are not recorded in the branch account. Okay, what are these items? One is cash and credit sales. If you have given cash sales and credit sales, this item is not recorded. Only we take into consideration the cash sales and cash from debtors to calculate remittance by branch to head office. Okay, but cash sales as it is, credit sales as it is, we don't record. We consider cash sales for remittance. Okay, so cash sales and credit sales are no entry. Only cash sales is considered for calculation of cash remittance. Next, goods returned by branch debtors. Goods returned by branch debtors is not recorded. Only the debtors account's balance is adjusted. Goods returned by debtors is not recorded anywhere. In the first method, branch account method, goods returned by branch debtors or customers not recorded. Only the closing balance of debtors is adjusted. Okay. Next is bad debts, allowances, discounts, etc. Bad debts, allowances, discounts, etc. are also not recorded. But the closing balance of debtors is adjusted. The specific entry for discount, allowances, and bad debts is not prepared. The specific entry is not prepared, but it is adjusted in the debtors balance. Okay. Petty cash expenses. This item is also not recorded in branch account. Only the petty cash balance at the end is adjusted. We have to take into consideration, but not for passing the entry, but for calculation of closing balance. Okay. In the same way, depreciation of fixed assets. No specific entry is passed. Only the closing balance is adjusted. Okay. Only the closing balance is adjusted. In the same way, normal loss on goods, no entry is passed. Only the closing stock is adjusted. Only the closing stock recorded by the amount reduced by the normal loss. As reduced by the normal loss. Okay. Next, surplus or shortage. It is also not recorded. It is also not recorded. Only the closing stock is adjusted. Okay. So, watch it again. Cash and credit sales. Cash and credit sales not recorded. Only we consider cash sales for calculation of remittance by branch. Goods returned by debtors or goods returned by customers, bad debts, allowances, discounts, petty cash expenses, depreciation, normal loss or surplus or shortage of stock. All these items are not recorded in the branch account. But these items are considered, these items are adjusted in the calculation of closing balances. After adjusting these items, the closing balance will be calculated and these closing balance will be recorded to the branch. Okay. So, goods returned by branch debtors, bad debts, allowances, discounts are deducted from the debtors to find out the closing balance. Okay. In the same way, petty cash expenses are deducted from the petty cash balance to find out the closing balance. Okay. Depreciation is deducted from the fixed asset to find out the closing balance of that fixed asset. Normal loss of goods or the shortage of goods, it is also deducted to find out the closing stock of goods. Surplus is added to find out the closing stock of the goods. So these items are adjusted and not shown separately, not recorded separately. Is that clear? Some additional entries you have to pass. Some additional entries you have to pass when the goods are invoiced at invoice price. When the goods are supplied by supplied by the head office to the branch at invoice price or selling price or above cost price, then at such time additional 5 entries you have to pass for cancellation of loading as the rule states. Okay, for cancellation of loading in the opening stock, entry is passed as stock reserve account debit to branch account. Stock reserve account debit to branch account. For cancellation loading in goods sent, entry is goods sent to branch account debit to branch. Entry is goods sent to branch account debit to branch. Okay. Then for cancellation of loading in goods returned by branch, entry is branch account debit to goods sent to branch. Branch account debit to goods sent to branch account. Then for cancellation of loading in abnormal loss, we do not consider normal loss. Only we consider here abnormal loss. Okay, loss by theft or loss by fire. Okay, or loss in transit. Such cancellation of such loading will pass entry branch account debit to abnormal loss account. Branch account debit to abnormal loss account. And for cancellation loading in closing stock, entry will be branch account debit to stock reserve account. These 5 entries are passed for calculation of loading. Okay, when the goods are supplied at invoice price, then we have to pass these additional entries. If the goods are invoiced at cost price, then there is no need of passing of these additional entries for cancellation of loading because there will be no loading. Okay, clear? You have to pass maximum 11 entries. Okay, maximum 11 entries. Then you have to take into consideration the items which are not to be recorded specifically, but the closing balances are adjusted. And third is journal entries for cancellation or loading. And this arises only in the case of when the goods are sent to the branch at invoice price. Okay, next is the second method, that is trading profit and loss account method. Okay, you know how to prepare the trading profit loss account. You are very familiar with this. It is your favorite topic. It is your favorite unit. Favorite task, you may say, preparation of trading profit and loss account. Here also we will prepare in the same way, in the same manner, trading and profit and loss account that you have prepared in the case of sole trader or in the case of partnership work. The same formula, the same fashion, the same manner. Okay, the same accounts will be used here, trading profit and loss. There is no change in the format. There is no change in the sequence. There is no change in the form. Okay, the form as it is we will use here for preparation of trading profit and loss account. Only we have to make some changes. Only we have to make some minor changes. One is that all items of trading and profit loss account are recorded with cost price. Very, very important that you have to record all goods items at cost price. All goods items at cost price. If you have been provided the goods items at invoice price, then convert it into cost price and then record it. You can't record here all goods items at invoice price. No. You have to record all goods items at cost price. If the prices are given at cost price, then it is okay. But if the prices of the goods items are given at invoice price, then this time you have to convert it into cost price and record only the cost price. This is very important thing. Okay. Second, goods sent to the branch is debited to the trading account in place of purchases. There will be no purchasing because this is a dependent branch. This branch has no authority to purchase the goods. So there will be no item of purchases. The place will take by the goods sent to branch. So goods sent to the branch will take place of the purchases. It should be debited. Second item. Goods returned by the branch is either deducted from goods sent to branch or credited to the trading account. Goods returned by the branch. Either it will be deducted as the goods are returned. So it should be deducted from the goods sent to branch, or you may say directly to the credit side of trading account. Okay. Goods written by debtors is deducted from credit sales or total sales. If the goods are returned by the debtors, customers, then at such time such item will be deducted from the credit sales, or if you have given total sales, you can deduct from the total sales. Then abnormal loss of stock. Abnormal loss of stock is credited to the trading account, and net loss, that is after insurance claim, is debited to the profit and loss account. You have been seen, you have recorded all such items. If there is abnormal loss, say for example loss by fire, okay, the total loss of goods, is credited to the trading account, and net loss means total loss minus insurance claim. Total loss minus insurance claim is debited to the profit and loss account. Okay, is that clear? If there is abnormal loss, total loss of goods should be credited to the trading account, and net loss means total loss minus insurance claim, that should be debited to the profit and loss account. Only these 4-5 items that we have to take into consideration. One is that all goods items are to be recorded at cost price. No purchases, goods sent to the branch will take place of purchases. Goods returned is deducted from goods sent or shown to the credit side. Okay, the loss, abnormal loss is credited, and the net loss is debited to the profit loss account. Also, the goods returned by debtors is deducted from the credit sales or total sales. Is that clear? Thank you very much. But I expect your valuable comments. Thank you very much.